You can see this growing totalitarianism, and it has an impact on real human lives. You kill somebody, they're not coming back. There's nothing worse you can do to an individual or to the family than to remove that human being from the face of the earth. And it's happening in record numbers now. Record numbers over the last 2 years. And here is an NBC Nightly News report on cities across America, record-breaking murder. Go.
For many cities, big and small, this has been the deadliest year ever. In Philadelphia alone, more than 520 homicides, breaking a record that had stood for over 30 years. And for Desiree Goodson, too many agonizing moments to count.
What will you miss most about him?
Oh, Samir always smiles. Samir, he makes me happy, like he cheers me up.
She still speaks about her 14-year-old son, Samir Jefferson, as if he's still here. But as a high school freshman waited for a bus last week, he was killed.
Police say 2 people got out of a car, chased him across the street, then fired about 35 shots. These are some of the bullet holes still on the side of this pharmacy. Samir was hit 18 times.
The people that kill Samir ain't killers, they monsters. Like, they shot my son 18 times.
Among the other cities already setting records for murders this year, Portland, Tucson, Toledo, St. Paul, Austin, and Albuquerque. The debate over why is raging. Some experts blame the pandemic in part. Bail reform keeping more criminals out of jail, more guns, and fewer officers. Indianapolis also hitting an all-time homicide high.
Wow.
We're definitely recruiting, and I want to put those officers on the streets.
Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner argues that while homicides are up in his city, other crimes such as rape and robberies that don't involve a gun are down.
We don't have a crisis of lawlessness. We don't have a crisis of crime. We don't have a crisis of violence.
But former Mayor Michael Nutter is slamming those comments as white privilege, saying the progressive DA has not been tough enough on criminals and demanding Krasner apologize to victims' families, like Desiree Goodson.
My son's not coming back. I don't care about no justice. None of that brings Samir back. None of it. None of it.
Police here have arrested 2 suspects in connection to her son's murder. Tonight, 2 more are still on the run, Lester.
You know, there needs to be more reporting like this, quite frankly, of the families that suffer from this stuff. There really does, because it's just unbelievable. Otherwise, for people who don't live in neighborhoods that are where the violence is up, and violence is up everywhere, but that said, you don't really see the consequences of this. It's statistics. How many people were shot in Chicago over the weekend? You know, it's almost a talking point. This is one of the great civil rights issues of our time. I've talked about it over the months, many, many months. Just as school choice is one of the great civil rights issues of our time. And yet the civil rights movement does nothing about either. Well, that's not true. When it comes to school choice, they oppose it, because they're in the back pocket of the teachers' unions too. But it's not the pandemic. We've had pandemics before. Pandemics don't cause people to murder each other. Guns don't cause people to murder each other. There's more black-on-black crime, particularly young black men killing young black men, than any other kind of murder in this country. And people need to come to grips with this. And there's a lot of reasons for this, and it's been building over time. But you don't take the referee, you don't pull the cops out of it, who are there to protect the innocent. I've always been frustrated by this argument that there's too many people in prison, or too many of this kind of people in prison. What the hell does that mean? You have to look at individuals as individuals. What did they do to deserve what they got? They had a court case, they had appeals, they had lawyers, they had more appeals. The issue isn't the race of the person. The issue is that the person committed those crimes. And yet we racialize that too. We racialize it in the sense that if you have too many of a percentage of one community versus another in prison, obviously the system is racist. Obviously, bull.
Want to see more Mark Levin? Go to LevinTV.com and subscribe now.